Should you buy a used mining GPU if you're a gamer? That is the question. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Gamer Meld. Many of us have lately experienced the pain of looking for a new GPU to find out we're screwed. They're either impossibly expensive or simply sold out. This has led to speculation on what could happen if cryptocurrencies burst. More than likely, we would see a rise in used graphics cards, though given how long gamers have been waiting, demand probably won't taper off a good bit for a while. In comes today's question. Should gamers buy GPUs previously owned by miners? Are they still good, etc.? The answer, like many things in life, isn't exactly cut and dry, and unfortunately we don't have enough data to definitively answer it, but I'm going to go over some misconceptions and things that absolutely make a difference when it comes to your GPU's lifespan. For one, it may seem like a no-brainer. When things are used more, they don't last as long or wear out faster. A car is a great analogy, but when it comes to computer hardware, it gets a little weird. The main reason a car wears out the more you use it is due to its moving parts. While cars do have electricity, that isn't what ultimately wears it down. No, it's things like friction, heat from said friction, impacts, etc. All this from the moving parts. Well, components like CPUs, GPUs, and memory aren't mechanical, so they don't technically have these moving parts. Yes, I know the fans on your GPU, and I'll get to that in a minute, but the actual processors themselves don't. Components typically die in what's called the bathtub curve. The bathtub curve is used to show expected lifespans of many products actually, but it works also for PC hardware. As you can see, PC component failure isn't linear. In fact, its midlife is when the failure rate of a product drops substantially. The causes for failure are quite different from beginning to end though. If a product doesn't make it past the infancy stage, it means there's probably a failure in manufacturing or some type of error. Once it makes it past this stage, typically it'll last through its operating life cycle. So if computers don't die from wear like a car, what kills components? Because we know they all die eventually. Well, simply existing in our environment can dry out parts, cause oxidation, and the list goes on. Basically, even if you keep your PC in a closet for years, it'll eventually die. It may not happen anytime soon, but time will destroy almost everything given enough of it. When it comes to components though, there are plenty of other known killers. Heat, for one, is a death sentence to any component. Overzealous overclockers should know this all too well, but a couple quick shutdowns due to excessive heat probably won't drastically lower its lifespan. Keeping it running hot or over the rated voltage absolutely will though. While Bitcoin used to love higher frequencies and therefore miners would overclock GPUs and run them to death, newer currencies that most use with graphics cards today don't. In fact, plenty of currencies like the more popular Ethereum, miners will undervolt for a small hit to their hash rate yet a huge decrease in power draw. Microsoft actually did one of the largest studies on crash rates of a few components and found that underclocking substantially lowered the amount of crashes of CPUs by between 39 and 80%, while overclocking increased the amount of crashes by as much as 20 times. Of course, this is crashes, but it should give us an insight into what components don't like. Another thing that kills components faster is thermal cycling, or going from hot to cold and vice versa. Damage is due to the chip expanding and contracting differently from the substrate and solder during these cycles and ultimately leading to broken connections or damaged solder, rendering the die useless. So technically, running more often at similar speeds could help the processor last longer, although some do claim they're still cycling during mining. Not only that, but a big reason there aren't many studies on component death, besides companies not wanting to give the numbers out, comes down to the fact that they usually die long after we're done with them. Advances in hardware lend old ones useless, especially when it comes to gaming, so as long as it lasts a couple years, everything may be fine. All of this could mean mining GPUs are a good buy, but there are a couple issues. Whether running a GPU, even undervolted 24/7 can or can't kill it sooner is tough to pin down. The answers usually come in anecdotal evidence or opinions not based on actual research. With that said, servers, while using better components, are made to run within specs 24/7, so we know it could be possible. There is, however, just one issue that almost certainly means a lower lifespan, and that's the fans. Some claim that ramping up and down actually causes more wear than simply running max at all times, but that seems to heavily be dependent on the type of bearing used, along with other factors. Luckily, many GPUs do have fans that can be swapped out or shrouds can be replaced with water blocks, etc., but it does seem fan death is one that comes all too soon for miners. Basically, while the answer isn't really a definitive one, hardware simply isn't as simple as more use equals more life. In fact, there's quite a bit of randomness to the equation that stems from processing methods, but there is one thing that's for certain. You don't want a card that's been run heavily at higher temps or one that's reaching the end of its life cycle. Whether you feel undervolting makes up for the higher time used as a gamble you'll have to make yourself. So while that does it for today, what did you think? Are mining cards a no-go, or are you willing to take anything you can get your hands on? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe for all things gaming hardware news and reviews. And as always, have a great day.